YouTube. Hell yeah, I got going on. We're gonna be reacting to this clip. I'm gonna be breaking it down. I did just watch it, and I did just do another reaction to it. Unfortunately, did not screen capture. You don't give a fuck. You don't even know what that means. We are gonna watch the whole clip first, and then we're gonna go back and watch it over again, breaking down specific points and seeing how I can further explain and implement some of my own theories into it about purpose and about how we can start to break free from our former selves and go after the things that we truly want and are truly for us. So let's watch it all the way through first.
In this world that we live in, there's two main motivating forces, and I tweet about it all the time. It's love or fear. You can't explain love. You know, my cousin is locked up for murder, and I love him. And so he did a bad thing, but I still love him. Here's the idea why you're in a simulation. Let's start with acting, first of all. And a 2-year-old screams at a restaurant, the entire restaurant screams, teach that kid how to act. We're all unpaid actors in some giant script that we didn't write. Simulation, a 2-year-old jumps on a coffee table and someone says, that's a coffee table, don't jump on that. So it went from being something that makes him feel like Superman, he's got his cape on. He's 2 years old, he doesn't give about a coffee or a table. And he's starting to like calculate all these things. And by the time you're 40 years old, you've got a wall full of coffee tables calculating you into traffic, calculating you into your career choice. You know, that's the simulation that I'm talking. That's what I mean when I say simulation.
Okay. Let's get to the part where he's on screen.
In this.
So, before I say anything, drop down in the comments your reaction to this clip, what you think this means. Go do that right now. Done? Alright, bet. So, when we are born, we all are brought into this universe as a blank slate, right? And the things that make us us were taught to us, right? So before you knew it, you were being trained, you were being taught, you were being exposed to all these different factors in your environment, and you were being molded, right? Like clay. Your brain, your mind, your body, your soul, your purpose was all being created and was all being molded for you before you knew. So, as we progress and as we grow and mature, we start to take that on for ourselves, but we are only going off of the training that has already been put on us, right? And this is called the system of beliefs. So, when you start to go to college, right? And when you graduate from high school and you are making a decision about where you want to go to school and who you're going to be, you know, what type of student you are, you know, what clubs you are going to join, your interests, your dislikes, all this is based off of that original mold, right? Your parent told you growing up that they wanted to be a doctor, right? And then when you go to school, all of a sudden, you are starting to pick the field of medicine too, right? But you don't even know why. You just want to go be a doctor and you don't think much of it. But I'm sure if you were to go back and talk to your parent or go back and start to think about where that has come from and start to question your decision and start to question why you actually want to pursue that, then you can see that there'll be these small moments where your parent started to push you and train you towards that career choice. You may see a moment at the dinner table where your parents were sitting you down and they were getting angry at you because you got a bad grade, right? and they were telling you that you were never going to be great, you know, you never were going to accomplish these things, you're never going to be a great and successful doctor. You didn't even know you wanted to be a doctor at the time, you know. That's just what they wanted for you. You're never going to make it here, you're never going to make it there. And they started to train you to get closer to that path of being a doctor, right? And every time you slipped off that path, and every time you fell down or got a bad grade or decided that you wanted to be a basketball player or decided that you wanted to be an artist or decided that you wanted to do something else, they trained you through negative reinforcements, right? And they told you that you would never be loved, or you would never make it, or you would never be successful, or you would never, you know, have a house or a car, the things that you needed if you didn't pursue this one single career. But little did you know that the reason why they were pushing you to become a doctor so bad, and that they didn't do it and they failed, was because their parents were pushing them towards that path. And they got the same exact training that you were getting, right? All the positive and negative reinforcements that they were using to push you towards that career path. Their parents did the same exact thing, right? And it's a cycle that comes from generation to generation to generation. But your mom or dad, whoever wanted to be the doctor, and whoever didn't make it and feel like they failed, they still are holding on to that resentment of not making it, right? They feel like they let that person down, they let their parent down, they didn't receive the love that they needed from their parent, and they wanted to make sure that you were the one that did it, right? You were the one that finally made it in the family, and then they could, you know, maybe say that they at least pushed you to do it, right? But whole time, that shit wasn't even for you. You wanted to be a graphic designer. You wanted to be a basketball player. You wanted to be a musician. But because your training was so strong early in your childhood and they knew who they wanted you to be, they forced you down that path, and before you knew it, you had your blinders on, you had the coffee tables, you had this narrow funnel going down into that career path, right? And this is not easy to break free from, because this takes work. And why I want you guys to know what's truly for you and know exactly what you're doing it for, and make sure that you're doing it for you, is because you may become a doctor and have all this money and then not be satisfied at all or not feel fulfilled. And then you will then realize at the end of your life, after all this work that you put in, all these years, all these doctorates and all these degrees, that that's not even what you wanted to do for real, you know? And that wasn't what was truly for you. And now you're having this end of life crisis where you are trying to figure out how you can leave this mark or leave this legacy and fulfill this purpose, but you don't have much time left at that point. Your life is damn near over. You're dead, nigga. You're dead. Like, you're done. So now, the reason why this is so important to do now is because we have limited time, right? We have, I don't know how much time you have. I don't know how much time I have, but there's a limited amount of time that we have. We want to know exactly what we are here for, exactly what our training is based off of, the things that we believe, why we believe those things, where it comes from, and how we can start to develop our own beliefs so we can then create a life of purpose and a purpose of our own that we can pursue and that we can achieve for ourselves and based on our own definitions of achievement. So my purpose is to help you, and throughout this process of me pursuing my purpose, I created an ebook. It's called The Purpose Journal, and it is a purpose journal, and it's called What Do I Want to Be When I Grow Up? And the purpose of that is for you to learn who you are, learn your learned beliefs and your system of beliefs, see where you stand, who you are, what traits you have, what characteristics you have, what skills you have, and what training you have. See how you can trace those things back to your childhood trainings and traumas, and then learn how to, instead of hating those things and fearing those things, learning how to love those things, like Kanye said in this video. There's love and then there's lack. fear is a lack of belief in self or a lack of confidence. So when we look at those traumas and we go back and trace those dots back, we're going to look at if those things come from love or lack or fear. And if they come from fear, we have to change how we perceive them. If they come from love, then we know that's truly for us, right? We know we are operating from a space that isn't holding us back or isn't based on something else or others' beliefs. So at that core, you're going to see, or at that root is what we call it in the book, you're going to see a lot. And don't be afraid, just take your time. There's instructions in the journal for you, and there are also videos on this same YouTube for you to learn how to use this purpose journal and find your purpose for yourself. Also, if you need any specific questions answered, make sure you scan the QR code and click the link at the end of the purpose journal, and you will be able to sit down with me and talk, right? See how you are operating now and see how you want to operate moving forward. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. See you in the next one.